there was a chatter who asked about playing Cecil in a Necro shell. This is interesting for 3 reasons. One, when Cecil transforms, it becomes a big life linker. You can gain a lot of life in your Necro deck. That rules. Necro also makes you lose a lot of life, which flips the Cecil, although it's pretty slow when you do that. Cecil is also a legendary creature. A legendary creature that costs 1 mana in black, lets you go Mox Amber on turn 2, Necro on turn 3. That'll be pretty dang good when it happens. Won't be as slow when you are transforming like this. Cecil is also... notably gains 4 life, which flips Sorin pretty well and lets you play Sorin, which is also a card that's just kind of solid in this archetype anyways. But that makes Sorin better. I think you're playing Mox Amber, so Sorin is better also. So your legends are Cecil, Sorin, Sheoldred. One thing I found when I was goldfishing this was like just being able to like run out a Mox Amber before you play Necro is kind of nice. Just like play a suspend Moxen kind of. Suspend 1. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, it's really important to splash a color when you're going for this build, so you can flip Cecil turn 2 by going Cecil turn 1, Fetch Shock, Thoughtseize, Fetch Shock. I think that's an important play pattern you want access to. I think blue is the best color to splash for Frog, which plays very well with Necro and is secondary source of card advantage. Possible you could splash green for like Pillage the Bog or Pick Your Poison, but I don't love those. So let's get in there. Yeah, I almost had 2 Trespassers. Wait, did I not have 2 Trespassers in the main? I definitely did in one of my drafts. I do. You're missing 2 Trespassers in the main. There we go. Oh, you're saying you're missing 2 because I could have 2 more. Okay. Do we miss the ring discussions here? Apparently, there's been a weird amount of ring discussions lately. So we didn't get enough of it when ring was legal. Well, let's mulligan the 1-lander. Not the farthest away from being a keep. Channel in some rage. Let's take the iteration. The rest of their hand is all creatures and a single violent urge. The urge is pretty scary too, but... Spike with June 30th coming soon. Would I like to see even more unbans in Modern? Yeah. I would like to. It doesn't seem very likely that that's going to happen. They said, dude, they drew Bobble. It's so gross. They said pretty explicitly that they were trying not to ban anything in Modern this time. And, okay, we're cooked. They said really explicitly that they were trying to not ban anything in Modern this time, and Modern just isn't in a space that it needs emergency bans, which is good. But like in general, yeah, I would love to see more unbans. I think that there's like 4 or 5 cards that would be pretty positive unbans and very safe unbans too. Do you think there's an Asmo version of this deck that to make Amber better with Flip Sword and Food? Street Wraith also nice with Cecil. I mean, it's kind of weird to play that package with Necro. It might be okay because you have plenty of cards to discard to cookbooks with Necro. I'm gonna concede. We're just dead to Violent Urge. We go to 1 if they hit the creature we don't block. Very gross top deck on the Bobble. I'm going to bring in the Sudden Edicts. I'm going to bring in the extra Trespasser. I think the Deluges are interesting. I don't think I'm bringing them in. They could be better than I think. I guess the Edicts are kind of bad against... maybe just play 2. They're bad against the Steel Cutter. Most popular card in Standard. Wait, did I cut something else? Okay, this looks like everything. 2 Sheoldred, 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Edict. Let's do this. Cut Thoughtseize. No, the thing is Thoughtseize is too important against Steel Cutter. I think I'm going to trim 1, though. That used to be the case, though. Yeah, so yeah, the cards I think would be pretty good unbans would be Ponder, Deathrite Shaman, Birthing Pod, Umazawa's Jite, Punishing Fire. I don't... Glimpse wouldn't do that much, I think, but Glimpse, I think, leads to really unfun turns. I wouldn't touch Glimpse. I really think that Deathrite Shaman, if it comes off the ban list, people are going to be like... shocked with like how like how it just like fits right in with one drops like Guide of Souls, All-Star Pride, Tomio. Punish Fire is such terrible gameplay. I would hate Modern if that strategy would be good. Well, the thing is, it just would not be good. I think, and maybe it would help against Boros Energy, which would be nice. But like, I have a hard time imagining Punishing Fire would be very dominant. Could be wrong. I think there are good arguments against it. Hard to mulligan double Fatal Push. Hard to keep a one-lander. Deathred Shaman would be the best one-drop in Modern by a lot. So here's the thing about Shaman, right? It's the most versatile one-drop in Modern by a lot. You can play it in Necro, you can play it in Yogg, you can play it in Rock decks, all decks that kind of fucking suck. You can play it in a lot of decks. Deathred Shaman is not more powerful than Guide of Souls, Tomio, or Ocelot Pride. Potentially, you could say it's not more powerful than Ragavan. I think that's more of a question mark to me. But it's there is a difference between power level and versatility. Those are not the same thing. And Shaman is more versatile and less powerful than the cards that I just described. And it would buff a lot of decks that need buffing so badly. It would also have a lot of counterplay to it in this, like in the K command Wrath the Skies metagame. Or world, and I think it also would just make let's go baby, let's go. It would also just make gameplay better. Like I think you can disagree, but I think that when Deathrite Shaman was legal, like the format being about like rock decks versus Izzet decks, like that's just some of the best gameplay I think Modern has ever had, and I would like to see more of it, more of that kind of gameplay. And if that's not the kind of stuff you like, that's fine. I think I don't want to attack, because if I fetch Shock next turn, then I can still flip the Cecil. Saying Necro fucking sucks is what you have right now. What? I mean, it is not a very well-positioned archetype. We're working on it with some new cards, yeah, but yes, Necro's not been doing well in Modern for a long time. Also, like, Necro Shaman's a little weird, where like you're exiling your own graveyard. So they exile Bloodstained Mire, but they can't play because they've already played a land. So we can put our opponent down to 2 life. Turn off Mutagenic Growth, turn off Shocklands. Yeah, Mox Opal and Faithless Looting being unbanned made me, like, this was a big part of me thinking they'd be fine too, and like, I just feel so strongly that Shaman would not be busted and would improve gameplay and make the Modern format more about classic iconic cards versus new busted cards, so it would buff archetypes that need buffs badly. I'm a big Deathrite Shaman believer that it would be a good unban. But it's okay to disagree. Let's go to game 2. On the draw for... game 3. On the draw for game 3. The 2/3 Death Touch actually lines up pretty well against Steel Cutter. Is the Looting Monument deck still a deck I believe in? I've been playing with Radia a little bit. I do think that there's definitely something to that shell. You're pretty good against the fair decks, and you're kind of slow against the non-interactive decks. So they use a Bolt. They've got 6 cards still in their hand. No Bobble. Yeah, I'll pay up that prediction. Sorry about that. You're still working the Bahamut deck? I don't know if I'm going to work on it, but I'm more interested in it than my not including Bahamut on the video. So I can discard 4 cards pretty comfortably. Or sorry, 3 cards pretty comfortably. To be fair, Mox did break Modern. I don't know. Mox is currently legal, and it's like it feels like it's such an appropriate power level. Okay, they have Delirium. I could discard my entire hand and be all in on a 5 power frog. It's pretty good to have a 5/6 frog. Or sorry, 5/7 frog. 6/7, 6/7. 6/7 frog. I can't block this turn. I think I'm gonna do it. Obviously, like if I just don't find a soul spike off the Necro, I lose. Yeah, it was Breach that was busted. Breach was good pre Mox unban. Like it was like, and Mox currently is a no tier 1 decks in Modern. It's fine. That's a good draw. Although also just discarding a card and trying to kill them next turn was an option. I guess could still try to do that. I think the sword does attack for lethal if they don't leave a blocker back, so we could do this. Also, they can't take any damage or they're dead. Well, I'd prefer my Sorin to live, so let's block like this. They heat the frog. That doesn't kill the frog. Although I guess they have another burn spell. Well, I guess this all-in on the frog line wasn't super good against double heat bolts. They have one card in their hand and a fiery islet and a draw step. Save me, roadblock. Pretty good 2 cards to have in hand. Pretty good. Just dead. Okay. Well, took the wrong line, I guess. Hard to just know that they're on double heat in hands plus another bolt. I guess, you know, the extra heat plus bolt in hand. Yeah, we're on the draw. Small again to 7. Yeah, I really like the EI is a good Modern card again. I agree. Do I want second Cecil or second Sorin? Probably second Cecil. Opal should have stayed banned. I think it's so hard to argue this. I know we have a strong start here, but like, it just feels. They might be playing our list from yesterday. I have played so many Mox Opal decks trying to determine. Okay, so we can turn 2 Necro. That's so cool. I've played so many Mox Opal decks at this point, trying to determine like the answer to this question you have. Like, was it a mistake? Is Mox Opal broken? Was Breach the wrong ban? We have played like every imaginable Mox Opal deck with like new Final Fantasy stuff to work on. It is just like so clear that Mox Opal is a fine card in the format at this point. I think it's just stubbornness to disagree at this point. It's just stubbornness and just wanting to have been right about your opinion that you had 4 months ago, 5 months ago, a year ago, whatever. It's like since the Breach was been banned, there has not been a tier 1 Mox Opal deck. There are a lot of fringe playable decks that play it that make brewing interesting and gameplay better and more interesting, in my opinion. So they crack the bauble before they get Metalcraft or have Metalcraft. Yeah, I agree. I agree that if Mox Opal was like a $10 card, there would be a lot less complaining about it. Don't you only play a deck if you think it has legs? There's so many options for Opal as evidence, right? Yeah, I think that you were misunderstanding my point, and I thought I made it as clear as I could, but there's a difference between a deck being a tier 1 deck and a deck being a busted and a problem. There's not enough broken things in Modern to try to break the format every single day. That's not the goal. That's never the goal. there are playable Mox Opal decks, but there has not been a tier 1 Mox Opal deck since Breach has been banned. There have been like this one. Our opponent's playing this. We were 9-1 with it yesterday. Not broken, very beatable if you want to beat it, and I think gameplay is good. Playable, not broken, not tier 1, beatable if you want to beat it. This has been my impression on these kind of decks. Let's flip the Cecil. You can play second Cecil and a Necro maybe. Oh. I needed to play the other Cecil first. This has for white now. I do think this deck was quite good. This was maybe this is the best Mox Opal deck in the format, I think. We might play it tomorrow, but so Planosphere from hand. I think the volatility of Opal's gameplay leads to some people focusing crazy fast starts. A bad top deck isn't always online. Yeah, and it's just very inconsistent, and there is just so much counterplay. Like if the format is full of Wrath Disguise and Collector Oofs and Stony Silences and Force of Vigors and Amulet Titan decks, it's just like these strategies just crumble. Do you not like the Jeskai Affinity list? I think Jeskai Narset Ascendancy is a solid archetype. Something we helped pioneer. I do like that deck. I do. It does just seem like people. It seems like there's just a disconnect from me saying there is no tier 1 Mox Opal deck and gameplay is good and counterplay is good. It seems like there's a big disconnect from me saying that and people's impression that that Mox Opal should be banned. Like, in my opinion, Mox Opal is like exactly where you want it to be. Exactly where you want it to be as far as like an unban goes. All right, got the flip Cecil. We get to hopefully resolve this. I wasn't main decking any Force of Negations. I'm going to draw 9 cards because we have to find a Soul Spike to not lose here, basically. And we have this Life Gainer to like bounce back. We do find the Soul Spike. What are current tier 1 decks? Boros, Prowess, Broodscale, Titan. I don't know if you count Eldrazi at the moment, but Eldrazi is probably number 5. You play 50,000 games of Modern, play 4 weekly. Maybe you have a large enough sample size to overcome the variance. I would say my experience is more typical. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I play 50,000 matches of Modern a week, and this is my impression. I feel like it holds some water. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. But that's kind of exactly my point, I guess. You might be tier 1 too. But I don't even know what like experience you're arguing for, dogs. I don't know. When you say your experience is more typical, I don't even know what experience you're talking about. In my opinion, these Mox Opal decks they're just like right where you want Modern gameplay to be. They're interactive, there's high nut draws, there's high variance, there's a lot of counterplay. The games are back and forth. Like I really think these are right where you want Modern decks to be. I'm saying more people engage with Modern the way I do than the way you do professional Magic player does. Right, I still don't understand like what your impression of is specifically Mox Opal. I didn't understand that part of the point. Maybe I should have Thoughtseize first. Because now if they counterspell this, it's pretty awkward. All right, do I Thoughtseize? I think no. I think I'm just going to draw 4. Let's do 5. Let's draw 5. No instance isn't great. Sheoldred's pretty nice. I think we keep backup Sheoldred. Don't know if we lose to Planosphere on Tomio that often. Pretty good. I think Dogs is arguing that people don't have the sample size to overcome their confirmation bias of getting nut drawn by affinity decks. I guess so. I guess I don't feel like that's a very good point necessarily, but I'm trying to understand. You know, maybe one other way to put it is, I think a lot of people maybe can be hyper focused on talking about Mox Opal and thinking about Mox Opal in general. And think, because you only play once a week, you think about Mox Opal in general, you think about the play patterns of like what my opponent's doing, and you really don't like it. You're like, I don't like this. I don't want Modern to be about this. And I think that is kind of a valid attitude, but there's a kind of an interesting disconnect there, because this is not close to the most problematic thing that's going on in Modern right now. Like, the gameplay against Boros Energy is so stale and repetitive. Every single time I queue against Boros on stream, I lose 100 viewers every single time. It's like the play, like it's like Boros Energy, Leyline Scion, Amulet Titan, Eldrazi with K Command. It's like, if you look at all of the other tier 1 decks with the exception of Prowess, the gameplay is less interactive, less interesting, and more repetitive, and just more problematic in general than this. So maybe that's what the big disconnect is that maybe players aren't comparing these two things, but you have to be, right. You have to compare the two, because you can't just evaluate it in a vacuum of what you want Modern to be. You have to evaluate it in a vacuum of what Modern is. Yeah, we just lose to... I guess we don't lose to the second Aether Spellbomb by itself. If we find a Soul Spike here, can get the Emery. No Emery. I don't think the normal frog decks are very good, unfortunately. I don't think they're very bad either. Cecil's going to kill me. Oh, right. I always forget that it gets the trigger when you block with it. It's not just combat damage. Okay, we are down a game against Affinity here. They're playing our build from yesterday. We're not very teched for it. I want to cut the Trespassers pretty bad. These are not very good. They counter Urza ETB. They counter Astrology, Planosphere, Job Select. They counter Saga triggers. I think I'll bring in a Break the Ice and an Edict. Spike, I still think the best way to interact with energy is printing more cards that interact with energy counters. I think this is a big misunderstanding of like why energy is a good deck. It's especially now that Amped Raptor is banned. Like we have a card that gets rid of all of your energy forever, and that card isn't good against Boros Energy. It's like I don't know what magic card we're thinking of. Jailer stops Emery. I don't know if that's something you want to bring in for, but maybe it'd be fine. I also one other thing here is, there might be, but can you think of an example of a time where there was like a busted strategy, and instead of banning something or unbanning something, you printed an answer, and that answer was so good. Oh baby, let's go. And that answer was like so well designed and so crafted that it made this otherwise busted strategy balanced. Okay, they drew an Urza Saga, so they're not just screwed. And again, that there might be something like that, but I can't really think of any. Okay, that's a good draw with my Mox Amber especially. Pithy Needle versus Aetherworks Marvel. Maybe that was the case. Oh, they did Consign. Consign is a really weird example where Consign was printed at the same time as Eldrazi. Eldrazi has been a very dominant presence in the metagame. It's like they're printed at the same time, so it's hard to be like this was a perfect counter to this strategy that it came at the same time. You also took the sync from the revealed cards. You also took the sink for the real cards. Yeah, I did, right? That was their only land. I think I'm graveyarding this. Ooh, baby. Which saga am I going after this one? Fatal Push for Goyf? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Again, I think it's just an interesting conversation point. I don't really have a lot of opinion on this. Bowmaster for Ragavan? Well, Bowmaster was really good with Ragavan, more so than it was against it, Ragavan. Can't force a negation this. I don't know. I think Bowmaster made Ragavan significantly worse. Maybe it's like, I mean, Scam was the best Bowmaster deck, and it played for Ragavan and it played for Bowmaster. So I don't know. Maybe. I think you're missing the point. Black now has 2 great 1-drops, Nethergoyf Cecil. White has Guide Pride. Red has Ragavan DRC. Green has numerous decks. One by blue. We only get Tamio. Well, that just sounds like a completely different conversation, which of course is what we need to talk about. Always is just random shit. So they can't rebuke this turn. I could take Force of Negation, and I could Soul Spike the Tamio after attacks. So if I take Force of Negation, Soul Spike Tamio, my opponent's left with an uncastable Thoughtcast that does get unlocked sooner rather than later. I could also I could play Sorin this turn. I feel like I really need to Soul Spike this Tamio. Oh, I guess what I could do actually is I could. Yeah, I could. No, I can't. I can't do it on their upkeep because the rebuke gets me. Yeah, so let's take Force of Negation. We could take rebuke. Yeah, let's take rebuke and then do it upkeep. Because that allows me to like resolve my next spell way easier. Weird game. Rebuke seems good. Force can hit. I think as I just need to Soul Spike Tamio. Definitely a weird turn. Let me know if you would have done something drastically different. Okay, can surveil here. Next turn you have Cecil flip Sorin. Well, okay, so expand beyond that. What did you want me to do? What did you want me to take with the Thoughtseize? You want me to take Rebuke? Because if I take just Rebuke, then my opponent gets to go attack with Tamio, cast Thoughtcast, flip Tamio, potentially set up for this Kappa Cannoneer, potentially find another answer to the Cecil. And here I've just basically said they can't do anything for 2 turns so far, and I've got this flip Cecil. But I just need to hear like specifically what you wanted me to do instead. Okay, so I took the Rebuke, so now this Sheoldred could resolve, because... Certainly seems like this line worked out the best by a lot. I don't know that it was necessarily the best, but for them, like, I mean, they even drew a land. And they still lost. Well, I mean, I drew the Sheoldred into land, so that's pretty ideal. This was at least how I was envisioning that sequence going. I like this line, and I always said that. I think that was a super interesting Thoughtseize. That was like, I would love to just summon Reduke. I cast Summon Reduke and just hear his thoughts on that line. How often am I Thoughtseizing next turn? I think not that often. I think I'll still play the Bog here. So now my Sudden Edict doesn't get the Tamio. My Frog can maybe deal with Tamio, though. Do I want to Soul Spike Tamio? Kinda. No, sorry, I don't have the 3rd black card because I played the Bog. Dude, the Aether Spellbomb is so load-bearing, but it's so good. Yeah, I think I've just got enough lands that we're gonna discard us swamp here. And then they're going to Aether Spellbomb. So I drew another land. That isn't ideal. I really like Cecil. Cecil's been playing really well. What's the thought on leading with Bog? So if I draw Thoughtseize, I have the ability to flip Cecil turn 2 if I deal myself 3 damage turn 1. I also might double Surveil with both of these fetch lands that, potentially. So like if I want to deal myself damage and I might Surveil, that's kind of the thought. I don't know if it was the right thought though. Oh, as a person, yeah. I mean, I think me and Cecil would be pals. Okay, I built their deck, and there's one Dismember in the sideboard that we could get got by, but I think I'm gonna be. Yeah, I want to be able to draw a Sheoldred and cast it. I think I'm gonna be blocking this Tamiyo. Yeah, they're holding up Rebuke. The Edict gets around that, though, if I want to do that. Alright, well, on the match. Could turn 2 Necro. Could turn 1 Cecil and push. Let's keep. What's on a Mold of 5. Mold of 4. We won on a Mold of 3 yesterday for the trophy. Mold of 4 Scalding Turn. Could it be Dredge? Could be just an unlucky deck that Mold of 4. So we can flip Cecil turn 2. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize turn 1 here. Since they're on a Mold of 2. Or Mold of 4. We did lose to Prowess earlier. They had a very lucky draw, so I guess that we're just karmically balancing out a little bit. I think you take Preordain there. So we're going to get the Cecil to be a 4/4 lifelinker next turn. Ooh, get a Sheoldred next turn. Let's go. Do you want to stop them from getting as much value from their Surveils as possible? Oh, sorry. This was bad into top deck mutagenic growth. This would be... I guess it would be... They would trade still. Wouldn't it be the worst? Would it be the best either? Cecil! I need you, Cecil. Yeah, see. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Cut 1 Thoughtseize. Cut 1 Sheoldred. What's my other cut last time? Was it a Mox? Finishing thoughts on Blue Rizzo. We went 9-1. It seemed great. The one match we lost, we made like a pretty bad brain fart punt that we were still behind. But we might have been able to win anyways. So the deck looked great. I might play it in the challenge tomorrow. My heart wants to play Temporal Trespass VV though. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it would be bad, but they'd have no cards in their hand. Like, we're still probably winning that game. I just should have waited on the Thoughtseize. Well, let's not click the mulligan button. If my opponent plays Swift Spear, I'm going to Thoughtseize turn 1 to play around Steel Cutter. Would I make any changes to Helga League post Final Fantasy? I mean, I would add the Nissa. I don't think the set really gave anything for Helga, though. Alright, my opponent's got double Prismatic Ending. Let's prioritize surveilling into Necro here. Okay, they keep a card on top. Helga's probably still pretty good, well positioned. Like Eldrazi's still just kind of not there. Most of the decks are the same. Final Fantasy didn't seem to change a ton about the metagame. Yeah, sometimes you have really complicated Thoughtseizes where you're like, if I take Rebuke and I Soul Spike on their upkeep, and then they have very few draws, and then sometimes you see Steel Cutter and don't think for another moment. Siege Rhino, thanks for the raid. Looks like we're getting dealt 3 damage and our opponent's getting through life. I'm pretty interested in going Sorin plus... You have Wear Tear? Wow, okay. Alright, never mind. Was there a card in Dragonstorm that put Helg on the map? No, we just top 4'd a Modern Challenge pre... Oh, Dragonstorm. No. It's just the way the metagame kind of evolved into aggro metagame with like Domain Zoo, Boros, Prowess being the top decks. And then they plot a Slickshot Show Off. It's a good land to draw. I think I'm going to draw 2 cards. Because, again, I want to go Sorin plus Soul Spike, flip Sorin next turn. Kind of bad if I don't draw a black card. Just if I draw 2 lands exactly, which is not the most likely either. Yeah, I think I want the option to also play Frog. Although I guess maybe one issue with this is... Sorry, they just are going to Prismatic Ending my... They're just going to Prismatic Ending my Necro. Could have waited a little longer, actually. Possibly, like, it was good to, like, Sorin, Soul Spike minus. Could leave this to discard a Frog, but I think let's Surveil instead. Sorin, Spike, Extort, Push, Extort equals 12 damage if they crack that fetch. Well, that could have been the line. Wait, isn't that... Oh, yeah, the Extort, yeah. Might hardcast Soul Spike this game. So the hand is Lava Dart, 2 mystery cards. Seraph with the 2 years. Thank you, welcome back. Should you wait so Necro doesn't exile spells for... Yeah, I think playing Sorin and Frog that turn might have been... Oh, wait, I drew the Frog. We were just playing cards out so the Necro could be a refill before the ending was probably better. Let's play both. I can discard the Soul Spike to the Frog to have it dodge the Lava Dart at least. They have a bolt, but then the... If their 2 mystery cards are both bolt, then this is worse, but... this flipping into a 4/4 lifelinker is good if that happens. I figured you were gonna cast Spike to flip Sorin in response to Pending. That would be nice if Sorin could flip anytime you gain 4 life. Sorin would be so much better, but Sorin only flips in your like end of combat step. It is, or second main phase. It's so annoying. Okay, so they have a bolt. They also have a Lava Dart still. It's pretty good. Yeah, the quality control didn't go over Johnny and Tomio and Ral as much as it did Grist and Sorin. Okay, there were 2 lightning bolts over there. Thankfully we drew a Sheoldred, I guess. If they have another bolt, they could bolt and double dart. So dart is... Wait, they didn't cast it. Wait, have they already cast this dart? How are they not... How did they not dart there? Okay, I can't do anything with this. I'm gonna attack. Would a Nimber of March be good to help flip Sorin? I mean, I think that card just mostly sucks. I just don't like to play it, I guess. So a Lava Dart puts me to 11 with the flashback, and this attacks for 5 more. And they don't have enough to kill me. Great. So we lost a nut draw against Prowess. We beat not such a nut draw against Prowess. And then we beat our blue affinity list too. Okay, keeping this. But that'll be tomorrow. And we will be playing the Aerith. I'll be working on Aerith Ballista combo too. Front side of Gris is more relevant than the back side. Just 1 mana, 1/2 Death Touch. Yeah, I have seen the green-black Broodskill list with Sephiroth. I think the player who 5-0'd was in the chat earlier. Came from 30-minute land to control. Hope to have fun this time as always. I mean, I'm down for Rydia. I do think like the next time I play Rydia Gorios, it'll probably be in a challenge. I probably want to play a challenge Monday also. We'll see. I've got wedding planning stuff to do this weekend. We played Zach Fair earlier today. We went 3-0 into 3-2. We didn't draw Zach a lot. Hard to not play the frog here. Down to 16. I think I want to be able to flip the Cecil next turn. Or have the option. I was looking at mono blue list. It'd be worth that to get red to add flame and whip in the side. I don't know a whip flare. That list is very intentionally mono blue. The mana to be the second color is pretty dang taxing, and it's not very easy to play that second color in my opinion. Or you can play it, but like you're sinking the Stupors and your Lore and Revealed and your Dark Soul Citadels are so good and you lose them. And if I was gonna spot, I know everyone goes, oh, Wizards, Flame of Anor, let's go. And like obviously Flame is good, but like the main red card you splash for is Corey Steelcutter. That is the number one card that that list would splash for. Gone 4-1 twice with your Rydia Goria's deck. Deck is a blast. Hope I don't sub push you to side. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad that we only played 3 matches with it. I definitely do want to play more, but I don't love playing a deck, well, especially when there's this much to do. I basically never try to grind a deck just to grind it. I like to play decks because I think there's stuff to work on, and just because that deck is already kind of proven to be in good shape, I think I want to wait until I want to wait for a challenge. It's like challenge ready, you know. Have we considered Blood Moon Saga Change deck with rituals? With Saga Rule Chains. So you could ritual Blood Moon out on turn 2. I mean, I think it might be better to so they're probably gonna Fatal Push. If I was gonna ritual out a Blood Moon turn 2, I would maybe just want to go fetch a basic Forest and Utopia Sprawl to Blood Moon turn 2. So good thing we have a backup Sheoldred. If I attack with this Cecil, my opponent would have to discard 3 of their 4 cards to block it effectively. Oh my gosh, let's go. Unbelievable 3 cards. Swamp, Fatal Push, Sheoldred. So they have the Force of Negation. The good news is, they pitched Sauron's Ransom. The good news is, they have to chump or take 4 here, and I don't know if they're gonna make the right call. Yeah, it's so hard to chump here. Like, how do you play around Swamp Sheoldred as my last 2 cards when I just got a Sheoldred pushed? Lethal trigger on the stack. Tishana's Tiebinder. not this time. All right. So Sudden Edict, quite nice in this matchup. You get to kill those creatures without them being able to counter. I definitely want to cut a Mox Amber. I think I want to cut a Soul Spike. Maybe 2 Soul Spikes. Maybe 3 Soul Spikes. Maybe all of them. This card is not good against them. All right, great. We got a lot of other... that's one nice thing is we have a lot of other life gain. Could Cecil be good in a Rectus Show? Yeah, so there's interesting overlap with Cecil, where Cecil and Street Wraith play well together. Detectives Phoenix and Street Wraith play well together. In theory, Cecil's a give it flying. I think that overlap is less interesting. So that is like the start of something. I'll say, I guess beyond that though, it's like we've been playing the... Lucy is staring at me. She's so cute. Beyond that, we played the Domain, or the Delirium deck. We played the Delirium deck. That deck is already playing Street Wraith. That deck is already playing Detectives Phoenix. The deck is already splashing black for Nethergoyf. That might just be the place to play Cecil also. And I'll say that Diamond Weapon did not perform particularly well when we played it the other day. So maybe you play Cecil and Delirium. I don't know if that's going to be a stream anytime soon, but we got a lot of stuff to work on. I'll also say that gameplay has been really fun, like the last 2 weeks. Just a lot of like very interactive back and forth games. And having a great time. So the graveyard and island. So they're going to sink whichever 3-drop I play, presumably. I have 2 each of these. I guess I'm going to play a Necro first. Because if they use a hard counter instead, I would rather it be this. Alright, let's play a Bowmaster, they say. It's pretty good. I was hoping there weren't on too many Bowmasters. How did Zach fare? We went 3-0 into 3-2. We lost to Grixis with a bunch of hidden Sugus and K commands, and we lost to Esper with a bunch of pest controls. And those matches were close. And Zach itself, we did not draw very much, which always stinks when that happens. But that is the report, I guess. All right, so the hand is Stern Scolding, Murktide, Sink. So, and Fatal Push. So this should resolve. Should know their hand exactly. They may sink the Necro now, which not much we can do about that. Well, I guess I could have put the trigger on the stack. That was the play. That was the play. Put the trigger on the stack, then push. So they're probably going to play the Murktide. And we're probably going to be pretty cold to it. I guess it's only a 4-4. I boarded out my Soul Spikes, which are usually pretty bad. Not a lot of 4-4 Murktides, typically. Yeah, I'm going to cast Sheoldred. I know they have a Fatal Push. We'll just not block the Orc Army and hope they don't draw a fetch land. And if they do, we can go to game 3. And it's push, Scolding, 2 mystery cards. So I go up to 6, which is nice because this lives. Ooh, I drew a Thoughtseize. So if I Thoughtseize, I go down to 4. Then I Necro, I go back up to 6 life exactly. Sure. So we take the only card that does anything. Wouldn't they just bounce in main phase 2 if you put trigger on the stack? No, they have a Bowmaster in play. I don't think they would care about me putting the trigger on the stack. I mean, they might, but maybe they would make that mistake. And if they did that, I could play a Trespasser instead, maybe. So go up to 6. Although maybe this is too big of a problem. Oh, I go up to 7. Well, good day to be bad at math. So they go down to 8. Yeah, I thought it was going to 6, and yeah, maybe we would have been basically dead if that was the case. But thankfully, I'm bad at math. So they're leaving the Orc Army back this time, which means I can gain more life, which is nice. So their hand is still Snare, Push, Scolding. Wait, what card? They took Thoughtseize? That was the worst card, because now I can just go Trespasser, exile Murktide, Amber, Trespasser, exile Sorin. I'll still be at 4 life. Pay 3, gain 6, back up to 7 life. But now I've got 2 Trespassers in play. Like I don't need to do anything. Like keep all their cards dead. Fun game. So I'm at 7. They're going down to 2. Their hand is push, snare, scolding, mystery card. Am I dead to Murktide? I don't think so. Because they can go push their Orc army, but then they can't cast the Murktide. And even if they could, it would be 1 damage short. 2 push in hand, no fetch. Nice. Well, I'm glad that worked out. So after we lost to that nutty prowess draw, game 3, things have gone really smoothly. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I flip Sorin turn 2. We'll see what develops here. Let's do it. Let's be bad. I never get to do this. Gotta hide your Sorin from interaction here. Spike, why is there a soul spike on in the middle of the field? Okay, hopefully they don't have static prison. That's what I hate about the Boros players who've been playing only 2 static prisons for so long, and it's like, oh, let's hope they don't remember how good that card is. Ever. Surveil Flage into the yard. Solitude my Sorin. Yikes. Wait around the galvanic discharge is okay, I guess. I think I saved this push for the Flage. I'm gonna draw a frog now. You don't have the guts. You don't have the guts. That's what I thought. Jas, the 9 months, thank you, welcome back. 9 months is crazy. I'm getting married next week. Let's go! Oh, wedding planning has been too stressful. Yeah, it hasn't been so bad. We've been somehow doing a pretty good job of just pacing ourselves. Congrats. This Surveil Flage into the yard is so gross. Like, why do they also have to have Solitude? Alright, so we're looking to draw a fetch land. We're looking to draw a Necro. Is that the end of the good list of top decks? Kinda, yeah. I'm taking 2 down to 17. Ah, that was on my list. So they can go discharge and kill this, hitting me for 8 down to 7. I think I draw 6 down to 9. Let's go. Tutors with the 39 months. We Demonic Tutor was here earlier. Sorry, I mistook them for you. So they still have a discharge. They said, oh no, in response to the Necro top deck? I hate how in the tank they are. It's making me nervous. Alright, Flage hits me. I get hit for 6. I think keeping the sword in play is going to be worth more than 6 life potentially. Especially because I'm pretty interested in playing around Reprieve next turn. Could be wrong. Solitude? Wrath Disguise. I don't know. Wish I had a Witch's Cottage right about now, I guess. I guess if they have a fetch land, we lose, but I'm going to cast a Sheoldred. Okay. Opponent still has Galvanic Discharge in hand. They might go for an attack. I block. They discharge. They escape Flage. Then I push the Flage. They say the Battle of Phyrexia has begun. True. Double trigger from Flage. Well, this would be presuming that they attack. Right now, their hand is discharge mystery cards, so they can't escape the Flage. They're getting pretty close, though. So they're thinking about attacking, then discharging, then escaping. Which puts me to 2, and then I push. No, they're thinking about doing something else. They're going to Wrath the Skies X equals 2 to get up to 5 energy. Discharge the Sheoldred. Hit me down to 1. Enough to escape Flage next turn. No. Okay, well, I would lose to that, so I'm glad that didn't happen. Boggart Trawler would be good. Oh, right. Sorry about that. You think they'd block? I don't think they'd block. You need 7 planes for a area. It never happens. Oh, is it 7 or 6? It's 7. So they hit me down to 2. I play Sheoldred. They discharge Escape Flage. I can Soul Spike to be alive. No, I'm not alive because the Flage gets double triggered. I mean, what else do I have? So, I mean, now I'm not dead. Now I can Soul Spike to be alive. I could just draw a push. I could draw a Necro into push. I don't know if that's very good. I could draw... I think that's kind of the end of the list, y'all. So let's surveil. Oh. How did you get in there? Mox Amber. Ah! Let's go. Ooh, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we are dead to 2 more land, 1 more planes. Sarah Paragon to recast Flage. I yield to you. Let's go to game 2. So I'll bring in a Trespasser. I'll bring in the Edicts. This should be enough incidental graveyard hate. We go down 1 push, 1 Amber, 1 Soul Spike, 1 Sorin. Is Big Boros really deck? Kind of. Very fringe. It's like, if you want it to be good against the aggro decks, I don't really exactly understand playing Big Boros instead of Helga. I guess you get access to Wrath Disguise. That card's pretty good. I don't think Consign is good. It still has Solitude Trigger, which could be okay. Not a lot besides that, right? Just lost to Gruul Birds. That sounds awesome. I haven't started to build the Birds deck. I do kind of want to, though. I'm gonna let Lucy inside. Jailer seems good here. Just to stop Flage. We have a lot of incidental answers to Flage. We have 4 Trawlers and 3 Trespassers. Jailer's just going to sit and play and get Wrath Disguised. And Mary is also like just not a thing. That card's so embarrassing. So if they discharge, I discard Soul Spike Fatal Push. No, I discard Fatal Push Trawler. It does stop Flage, stops spells from being cast from the yard. I guess it stops the area. Alright, you got a second one of these? They cast this pretty fast, so they probably do have a second. You can have a Wrath Disguise too. Jailer doesn't stop Flage, you can still cast Flage from the graveyard. Oh right, it only stops Phoenix. I can never keep straight what it stops and what it doesn't stop. So my opponent can't discharge the Frog and reprieve the Necro. Cecil's been pretty good so far, I'd say, Aquinas. Alright, so I discarded... It was a 3 for 3, basically. They discarded a Lockdown. I guess it's not that bad against my build. Any triggers going on the stack here? Let's go. So, I'm going to be going down to... I don't have 9. I think I'm going to draw 7. I don't have like 6 cards in my hand here. Or 9 cards in my hand before Soul Spike, rather. So one of the 2 Sorins. And the Trawler, I guess. Discard the Grave. Seems like they got something in their hand here. It's like a Felia? Brought back my beloved. My pet card. Let's go. I think I'm just gonna play these 2 cards. Probably draw 3. Okay, now I guess I'm just drawing 2. I don't know if I block. I probably won't get the chance to block. If they can reprieve my Graveyard Trespasser, I'm gonna lose, I guess. Looks like they can't. So I'm taking 3 down to 8. So go up to 9. I think it's going to draw 3 again. Getting Path Exiled? Ephemerate on Solitude, targeting Sorin. Okay. That's fine. So they have 1 card in their hand. Will they Solitude the Trespasser and discard that card? Seems like they are interested in that. If this card is a Flage, it's not, it's a Plains. If it was a Flage, that would have been gross. We gained 3 more life, which is great, obviously. While we've got Necro in play. They've drawn a spell. They've untapped their mana, and they've passed the turn. What would they do that for? What would you do that for? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to cast this. I resolved really quick for somebody who was tapping mana a second ago. So yeah, I think I'm going to draw 4 this time. These kind of games with Necro are so fun. At risk of being brought back. If they have brought back, they don't get to exile my Trespasser, which is nice. And I want to discard 1 less card, obviously. I've not found one of my 4 Sheoldreds yet. We're 28 cards deep. I can gain 2 more life off of this Graveyard Glutton. Wrath? I mean, they would have cast Wrath of Skies or Wrath of God, so I don't know. Mary looking bad. Yeah, this card never triggers. I've played a lot of it. It's not something. It have 7 other planes in play. What are we doing here? Might have been okay to keep that. It's a little weird. Let's draw 4 so we don't die to a Flash. Interesting. Yeah, I thought could be sneaky. How we do this main phase because it brought back, or on our turn because it brought back, and I guess also because of discarding cards. Don't think I want another Necro. It's pretty good. They got 1 card. It's not Thoughtseize, I guess, and be dead to a Flage. Let's just cast this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about... Maybe it was wrong to discard the Necro. I feel like it was fine. Probably do it again. Save this in hand for a Frog. Although I guess playing it would let me hardcast Soul Spike. Kind of comfy. It's probably worth doing this turn. So they got 1 card in their hands. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 planes in play. Recruiter of the Guard is pretty good against my Sudden Edict. I had no idea that they would have this card in their deck. I don't know what they're going to tutor with it either. Solitude, maybe? White Orchid Phantom Knight. They get a Solitude, so at risk of dying to Flage, I'm probably going to have to Thoughtseize that thing. Let's see what we draw for turn. Out of Surveillance, too. Yeah, I'm just going to lose to brought back on Recruiter, so... Let's go to 1. Let's Fatal Push the Recruiter, and then we can gain 3 life from the Solitude on the Trawler, potentially, and then we can Sudden Edict the Solitude. I didn't see the VV Unearth deck in the 5-0s. Again, I'm not very interested in VV. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can Ghost Quarter their own Flagstones, and they'll be 1 away from Emeria. I'm so sorry, Emeria, for all this shit talk. So they're going to go down to 4. If they don't draw anything, they lose. They do get a Surveil, though, right? Really want to go to game 3. Take a look at the VV deck. Oh, I saw Arclight here. I'm like, Arclight! Yeah, I have a hard time getting excited for this without the Moxen. Like, the Moxen are such a big deal for VV, but that'd be fun. Alright, so they're at 4, I'm at 4. I guess we don't really need to be afraid of Emeria, because if they draw land, they lose, and if they don't draw land, they don't have Emeria online. Well, thankfully that doesn't do anything. I've only gained 2 lives, so if I play Sorin, I don't get to flip Sorin. It does seem like if I play Sorin, I guess I don't need to fear Wrath Disguise because of the lockdown. So if they top deck exactly Wrath of God, playing this is worse, which I'm okay with, I guess. All right, GG. Going to game 3. Kills there, Ameria. Let's go. Great match so far. Love brought back. I just don't think you can play this against the lockdown Wrath of Skies deck, but it's not looking that bad. Honestly, Ashiok doesn't look that bad either. They have a ton of fetches. They have Imperial Recruiter. This matchup is so slow. I just hate Ashiok. I feel like I should probably have a copy. Just play 2 pushes. I'll play 1. It does enable Mox Amber too, I guess. This hand could flip Cecil turn 2. Going Thoughtseize into Frog, probably better though. Dropping push is crazy? Why? Why is push good against them? You're that scared of White Orchid Phantom? I haven't seen Sudden Edict in a while, makes it good in the meta. Domain Zoo, although I haven't seen as much Domain Zoo lately, so I guess it's not as good. But that's the main matchup. It's also just kind of good against Frog when they're holding up counter magic. Okay, so I'm going to play Cecil. And then they're going to reprieve, and then we'll replay the Cecil. Skyclave 2, this is nuts. I mean, they have what, like maybe 1 Skyclave in their deck. But we have Soul Spike, Push, and Edict. I feel like we're doing fine on removal. And they decide to discharge instead. So their hand is White Orchid Phantom, Surgical Reprieve, 2 mystery cards. Both of them are spells. Gonna wait on the Frog next turn unless I draw exactly this. I've talked like as someone who's played Invert Polarity. Can you explain when you'd want it in a deck when you want it? You mostly want it in a deck when there's a lot of high mana value decks where you can steal like a big spell and games go long enough where 3 mana counter spells have time to get online, and you don't want it in metagames like Boros Prowess, that kind of stuff. Alright, they surgical my Thoughtseize. That is fine with me. We've had a few Sorin Nourishing Shoal decks, yeah. Alright, so their hand is Phantom, 3 mystery cards, 2 of them are spells. So they didn't play the Phantom. What do they have? They would have played Discharge already, maybe. Maybe not. Are they waiting on something for Phantom? I don't think so. Actual Wrath of God could be in their hand. I think I'm going to play the Sheoldred. Ooh, Solitude brought back could be it. Okay, let's surveil. Why? I guess they maybe have a lot of dead cards. I don't know. Big Boros can have that issue for sure. Can you brought back a mountain? If it went to the graveyard that turn. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get a card art like this again. For better or for worse. Yeah, let's just not deploy 2 threats. They might have Reprieve. Reprieve is like the obvious thing that I didn't mention here. They do have brought back. They're just using it as a rampant growth here. Unless they have Solitude. Nice. I guess Rampant Growth Surveil 1. It's fine. I want a 24-person RCQ with 2 copies of Alatril. What were you playing? Has there been a Children of Corliss Sorin deck? I've tried a lot. I've tried to do that with Necro. We maybe did that while Ring was legal. That might have been off stream though. Okay, the Graveyard of Discharge. Sometimes I forget what was on stream and what was off. Is this a Ratha? Maybe it's just too silly to play around Wrath of God. I don't know. Why didn't I play a land? I played a land that turn. I played a land for turn. I drew a land off Frog. Okay, it's our last Fatal Push. If I can hit them for 6 and make them lose 2 to the Sheoldred, it's obviously a huge game. I said I needed exactly 2 Fatal Push, and I was right about that. Subscribe buttons down below, haters. Sorry about that. I don't know where that came from. All right, get in. I don't know what that came from. I didn't like that. So maybe we're a land or a black card away from winning the game, which I think is every card in my deck. We have no more tap lands. Is there any? I mean, they're going to have Reprieve. All right, so they have 1 mana up. I believe every... Oh, no, Mox Amber. We have 1 Mox Amber left in the deck. We have exactly 1 Mox Amber. Also, they could have Mana Tithe if we draw the land. Dang it. We didn't draw Mox Amber. All right, I'm gonna Soul Spike. I'm a hater that's subscribing. Thank you for the 8 months, Skirk. All right, that was a nice way to end the hardcast Soul Spike while they're at 4. Nice bounce back after losing to that Prowess Natural round 3. Honestly, that was a great league. Just we lost a very hard game to win. Beat Prowess again. 4-1. Very nice. Good to pay out the believers. Open an Urza Saga. Open a Mockingbird. Not too bad. Anything else? Bergie. Wait, is this a white? Why is this white border? What did I do to deserve this? It's foil white border. Okay, that's it for me today. Challenge tomorrow. I'm either playing the Affinity blue deck that we went 9-1 with if I'm reasonable. This deck might